My name is Chantal Neveu. I am the author of A Spectacular Influence, and the translation has been done by Nathanaël. There are so many motivation and impulse for this book, and this book has been written also on a long period of metabolization. So it was really, for me, the desire to make a kind of synthetic, very personal metamorphoses of all the readings I did, and kind of a long study, many authors, philosophy, most of them. And I didn't want to make an essay or a resume, so I choose the corporal and the line with voice to express all my obsession and experiment of it. And the thematic I can say about the main impulse was the experiment of extreme situation. And when we are in the extreme sensation or question or situation, intern or extern, what is the life and what is the cause and effect? Maybe there's not always effect of the cause or... So I wanted to be in that kind of era. So also the main question was, is the joy possible through tragedy? And also, what is the vitality going through inertia, or what we can call melancholia? Or so the suffering also, close to tragedy, the line between this extreme sensation, that it is difficult to have a measure of it, but very intimate, and to go through and to be in a kind of a collective humanity sensation. So the personal and the more human or alive group. It's part of the desire of the multifacial or the polyphonic dimension, the desire of metamorphoses and alterity. And so as a voice writing or a body expressing, the desire to be more than one, the kind of the dimension of to be a lot, to be, in French we say un nombre, to be more than one, the sensation. So to divide the book in 4 sections gives me the opportunity to have a kind of multi-angle and to be, in this, and also I can say this division of the book and the division of the expression was paradoxically a possibility of unification. So it's also a reverse of, for example, if we can say if we are in a dispersion or a division, to have the, for example, kind of not a pain, but can be a sadness or something, and to make a reverse of it and to feel stronger or more happy or peaceful. And so this is the kind of experiment, writing in that different zones, different voices, and also from where I was talking or writing, because the from where is always very important. So the architectural dimension of the 4 parts for me was very dynamic. Yeah. And also to maybe to say also femininity, masculinity, was, we can say, men and women, but it was all together and different. So that was a part also of the division. Yeah. Well, about the expression of manifesto, I'm not very pleased with the word, but I assume it in a way. But it is about manifestation. So it's not a manifesto, but it's more an expression and also an affirmation, but an affirmation as an interrogation and as a proposal. So for me, it's more a metabolization. I think writing poetry or working with the language like we do, it's the opportunity to make metabolization of all the thoughts, the concepts, the question we do have, and to make a step beside or to go through or telescoping, zoom in, zoom out, and to make a shake and to try to express another way. So it's always metamorphoses. So this is for me my proposal. So maybe that word manifesto. But about materialist, it's because in this book the physicality is very important, the perception, the perceptude. So I was close about all the pre-Socratic philosophers, about also the cosmic and the big scale and the very microscopic scales too. So atomistic and the kleiner man, for example, the infinitesimal small wind. This is maybe for me the definition of influence. So the minuscule one, but also spectacular influence of that. So it was very a physical consideration. So that's why I use the word materialistic. And also because the vocabulary, the lexicology, the words, the etymology, the combination of syllabs and the sound of the words, it's very physical too. So it is the material. And so I'm working with that. So that's why I use the word materialism. And also poetry, because it's the thankfulness, the gratefulness to poesia, the poetry, all the arts. So I'm not a philosopher, I'm not a scientific, so I assume that it is in the land of what we call poetry. And if I can say also the vibration of the word materialism, it's also because it's part of the capital. And to write and to publish that kind of little small books with kind of density inside it, it's a proposal to the big capital too. So it's out of the capital, but it's also inside. So that's why, so the expression is a little bit too much, but inside, when we have an opportunity to share, what is it? It's about maybe all that, yeah. The sensation of melancholy, I use it and I feel it as a perplexity in front of the reality. So it's not just a kind of a sadness, for example, or nostalgia. I prefer to put light on this melancholia, more about the kind of the contrast between extreme sensation and the ressac, the effect sometimes, or so it's kind of, we can feel a sensation of inertia. And also it's like a word can be empty, so it can be dead. So how to move something inertia, like a rock, for example, or inside when we are in a state of catatonia, or so when we are in the state of what we can call melancholia or inertia or perplexity and a lot of brain searching of reality, we can also be very close of what we call contemplation state of being. So I wanted to experiment this this zone of paying attention, because when you are like this, you don't move, but you can see very well what is moving around you or inside of you. So it's a lot of attention. So that's another regime of vitesse, of speed. Very slow, but very effective. The sensibility is very, very strong. So I think it's a door, it's a way to go through the movement and to appreciate it. And so it's very close of vitality and joy and to have appreciation of what is alive. And so that's why it's a part of the life and inside this book, I hope so. And also it's very close of the death. So I think to be alive, it's very close to be dead. So also that kind of this vibration. Yeah, this is what I can say. And also because of my reference, I read some authors being very close this experiment of melancholia, and the reverse of that can be very, very astonished. And I can talk maybe later about that. Like, for example, the third part of the book, it's an extreme situation. A man just wonder if he has strangled the woman in front of him. So does he kill this woman or not? And so I have a reference of Louis Althusser, for example. And what a kind of tragic event or even an action of violence we can do can be also kind of a turning point in your life. So we can have maybe an opportunity to have a kind of extreme indulgence also, and to make another cycle of your life. For example, if I talk about Louis Althusser, which is not in the book, but it was kind of a reference for me, very dynamic and bizarre. It's like this man has written up all his life about the materialism dialectic. And at the end of his life, after this tragic event, he was writing and thinking about the materialism of random, the aléatoire materialism. So it's a total change. So I'm grateful of that kind of going through something to experiment something else and to give to humanity another angle of the same reality. So that was a kind of also a part of it for me. It was kind of, for me, more narrative than some other books I wrote. It was another way of concentration for me. So it was more narrative. The voice was talking, and so it's kind of a soliloquy. It's kind of what I'm thinking, and you just follow the thought. And so it's kind of elliptical, but there's a kind of a line of ideas, and one after the other. And so it was more a prose. But of course, I never forget that I'm working and I'm writing with words. So each word, it's a part of the division of the sentence and the atomic nucleus and the division of the material. So I wanted to see it, to give to not forget that. So that's why I make that kind of atomization, the word on each line, which I do a lot also like this, to have a highlight of the meaning of the sound, but also to reduce the speed of the reading. And so also could be close of different state of feeling, of being. And I have to say that when I make the book, in the French book, with the editor, Danielle Fournier, she asked me many questions. She was a good reader, and I did a last, not rewriting, but a last kind of writing, and I put all on only one line. I mean, each word on each line. And after that, I make it again my prose. So it was a big laboratory to see each word and to measure the syntaxic, the rhythmic, the decision of the punctuation, the comma, the tiret, So all the unification or the composition, and so the kind of elastic and expansion, and and after that, of course, I took a last decision and to have a respiration of the book, and this is the final book. Yeah, it was. But I like to highlight the word. Yeah, the smallest atomic. Yeah. Well, it's a privilege to work with Nathanaël. It's always a privilege to work with a translator, but of course, to work with Nathanaël, she's a poet and very in French we say savante and lettrée and very profound, and a sensibility of to see the reality and deeply, and literature is the metabolization of Nathanaël, and it's a body experiment. So it was a privilege for this book, so yeah, I'm very grateful to Nathanaël, and also the very beautiful disposition of because Nathanaël has her own corpus. So I think this book, the text is the English text is by Nathanaël, and I recognize all my obsession, all my decision, all my reiteration and modification and details of polysemic issues for me. But Nathanaël took decisions. So that's very interesting, all the fine-tuning of a word in the first part could be an answer or echo in the third or the fourth part, and but not strictly a repetition. And so I saw we worked more than 2 years together with intensive dialogue, but also long silence between reading, and also she has the graceful disposition to allow me to comment, to ask questions, to make an intervention. So it was a dialogue, and so it was not a possession; it was the text. The important was the book, the text, and so all the. And also, I think the silence and the interval, as in the book in French when I wrote it, with a lot of interval, we did have the same opportunity for the translation. So the action of the time, the action of to let that here and to come back, and the action of intuition and to go in the action, to write again and to change. Nathanaël has this autonomy and generous presence. So it was, I really enjoy and appreciate. And also all the details of the French and English, as you said, the difference of the contraction, the decision I do not, all this rhythmic and the layers of language, and so I recognize the rhythmic or the state of the voice, and so yeah, the penetration of the book is amazing. Yeah, I'm very thankful. Une spectaculaire influence. De retour de Grèce, voix d'un homme sans visage, l'équivalence des souffrances. Concret comme de la roche déposée fragmentée dans une pièce. Concret comme une tête de marbre aux côtés d'un corps décapité. Incongruité de pierres cassées, déplacées, mon crâne séparé de mon corps, je ne bouge pas. Je ne fais rien. Le rien, chose imprenable, imprenable caillou de granit au milieu d'une pièce. Corps sans tête, 51 corps, la tête arrachée par des obus, 51 Albanais, leurs 51 mâchoires explosées. Vous ne pouvez avoir les corps maintenant, revenez plus tard. Vivant, mortel, je suis 51, entier, décapité. Je me déplace dans le bruit que j'entends. Translated by Nathanaël. At night, the forest is not green. I look at the black trees. I think of what there was before. The sound of scraping stone from inside the walls, near, amplified, like grains of hard chalk. And if this mineral grating were the wear of my teeth, that I were in the process of eating the inside of my skull. No other taste fills my throat. My jaw aches, my arms, wrists, taut. I turn the light on, sharp cries pierce the surroundings, birds make out the first glimmers of day. I keep a distant calcareous resonance. With the day, the voice of man will shout between the hammer strikes against the metal and the electric roll of saws. From the other side of the walls, a worksite occupies the forest all the way to the river. Expanses of silence more and more long between the fall of the sound, the resumption of the noise. Before recognizing the sound of the hammer, I could hear the repeated cadence of struck steel, the stone being broken. Mason raised a wall at the foot of the marsh. I turn off the light. The masons have arrived with their tools. The crows will retreat until the next dawn. My hands on my face beneath my eyebrows, behind the hollows of my eyelids, the cavities beneath the globes of my eyes, the perimeter surrounding the craters, lower, beneath the lobes of my ears. It is no longer similar matter, the nape, another region, the throat, a head, an enigma. How many days did I lose my voice? No breath emerged from the walls.